What's up, everybody? I want to make this video and I'm going to show my face because at this point it doesn't really matter. What I wanted to talk to you about is a lot of stuff that's happening right now on planet Earth. I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube, reading books every now and then. What I wanted to talk to you about something that's happening as a whole, a planet as a whole. So I'm going to break this down into communities. First I want to start with what I represent, which has many titles: African American, Black American, Black person born in Africa, Native African, Negro, colored, whatever. Then it's the Europeans, it's the Asians, it's the Spanish. And Spanish people, you're not Latin. You have nothing to do with Latino. I'll get into that some other time, but you're Spanish. Your heritage is from Spain, so let's keep it real. What I wanted to say is, oh, I forgot. Also, the community of homosexuals, lesbians, and all the gender categories, to sum it all up. All the gender categories, okay? So I want to leave nothing out because it takes all of us to be a community on this planet. We're all interconnected. Whether you want to accept that or not, we're interconnected. Okay, so the whole, that's how I'm going to sum that up, the whole. Now, I've been looking and watching, and there's one thing that I see in common that we all have. No matter what category you fit in, we all have one thing in common, and that is fighting. We're all fighting to prove to one another something. Let me say that again. All the communities and the groups that I've just pointed out under this global umbrella have one thing in common that sticks out to me, and that is we're all fighting to prove to one another something. Okay? So let me start off with my own kind. Like I said, Africans or Nubians, I prefer Nubian. Okay? We have to realize a very important step in the reason why we're being what's called discriminated against. And that is that Europe conquered Africa. And when I think about it, this is going to apply to a lot of the categories, or even most or all of the categories. We were conquered by Europe. If you go back, before America became heavily populated with Europeans, we were already conquered in Africa. So the conqueror, which is Europe, conquered us. And because the conqueror had already a set of morals and standards, they imposed that onto the conquered, which was us, black people, or Nubians. Now, you fast forward to today, and then you wonder why we get discriminated against. There's still warfare going on. As much research as I've done, and I'm not a fanatic about it, I happen to be a veteran. And when you look at this from soldiers' eyes, the war strategy that the European used on Africans had never been used before, as far as I can see in the history books or any kind of old research. What they did, well, let me point this out first. Usually when someone is conquered or a tribe is conquered, some of the conquered will get sold off. They will be killed off through various ways, like working, or mostly working till you die, for pleasure, sport, and some of the conqueror will be used as sex slaves and stuff like that, tortured, whatever. Okay, because the conqueror can do what the conquered what it will because it conquered it. Now in war, when one side is winning, say for instance, you're getting ready to fight. You have 5,000 men, women, and the other side has 5,000 women, men, and you get down to your last 500. What usually happens in war is that the 500 will retreat. But see, the African never retreated because the Europeans used a strategy on us that's brilliant. It's actually brilliant when it pertains to war. They just brainwashed and conditioned us to think, hey, we don't have to retreat. In order for us to be among them in the society, what we have to do is fight for equality. Now, there's nothing in this world that's equal. Equality is an illusion. If you have a group of lions, there's no equality among the lions. When you have a group of baboons or monkeys, there's no equality. There's always a hierarchical structure. So to teach us that we need to fight for equality is just pacifying us and keeping us subservient. So when you have a conquered people and the conqueror is walking around and you're allowed to live among them, that means you're a prisoner of war, a POW. So they disguised all of this warfare in what you see now. For example, you're going around thinking you have rights. Whenever they want to, they can break those rights and do to you what they want to do to you. A lot of times is kill you. The far back you go, 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, they were killing you more than they're killing you now in 2018. So by you marching in the street and rioting and things like this, that's expected. They know you're going to do this, and usually you destroy your own neighborhoods. You don't go into their neighborhoods and destroy anything. And I'm not promoting violence here. I'm just stating facts. You destroy your own stuff. So as long as you don't get out of hand, and they can easily maintain you, they can easily control you now because they've had hundreds of years of practice, not if thousands of years of practice to keep you in control. They know how to flip your switch to make you go off and start doing bad stuff. They know how to calm you back down. So somebody walk into a Starbucks or Old Navy, or I was watching one video where this sister, this black woman, she fell asleep in the common area of the dorm, and some so-called mentally disturbed white lady called the cops on her, and the police came and was questioning this black woman, and this black woman is standing up there giving all this information to the cops. And it wasn't about her not being there. To her it was because she became emotional. They know how to make you emotional. To them, they were just harassing her. It's the same with Starbucks. Anytime you walk into an establishment and they harass you, or what's called racial profiling, they don't know whether you can afford it or not. What they do want to do is take your energy by harassment. They want to harass you. Okay? Let me put that out there for you. When a soldier goes to war, they carry more than one weapon. They have a couple of grenades maybe, they have a bayonet, a knife, which is a knife, they have a weapon, they may have a sidearm. Not too many soldiers going to go to war with just one weapon, okay? So, because we're still in warfare, remember we were conquered, and the African didn't retreat. They're going to throw so much ammo at you, and it doesn't have to be physical ammo. It could be psychological ammo. This is actually psychological warfare right now, which they're getting ready to change into physical warfare again, physical ammo. Okay, so you just got to get ready for that, because they're going to do it. So when you get discriminated against and then they reward you with money in court, they don't care about money. They're getting their rocks off was to watch you go through the song and dance. I saw another video where this, he looks half black, half something else. Up in Canada, supposedly he went and ordered this one of a kind, or maybe 20 of a kind Mercedes, right? Okay, so he goes into the Canadian Benz dealer and he said he paid cash for it. And they let him take the car, and when he got home, he registered it, he insured it. They gave him a call and told him that the car hadn't been, what's that word? Regulated. The car hadn't been regulated to go on the road, so he had to bring the car back in. This guy gets on the internet and goes off in a rant for so long about that car. And I see why they did that to him. Because he walked into the dealership, number one. He started looking at equality. I'm equal. I can do this. You know, not that I can do this because I got the money, but I can do this because, you know, I'm just equal to them. Right? Okay. No, you're a POW. That's what you don't realize, and you forgot. Okay. So he goes in with cash, or his credit card, his debit card, or whatever, and he pays for this car outright. So when you watch the video, you can see that he went in there telling them and talking about what he wanted to do with this car. So they took the opportunity to sell him a car that wasn't regulated, knowing that he's going to explode. So I commented on his video and said, hey, look, you are a fool because you're like a little child that didn't get a piece of candy, and they saw that. So they said to themselves, let's make this boy suffer. So they gave you the car and just let you drive off, knowing that the car is not regulated. They watched you in your video ran on and on and on and on. And they were sitting in the sauna drinking $5,000 bottles of champagne, smoking $1,000 cigars or whatever, having fun watching you go off like a little child. And all he had to say about what I commented to him, which I was giving him the truth and the right advice, is, trust me, I got it solved. And by him saying that, he still doesn't realize what went on. This happens to a lot of us in society, being black, Nubian, or whatever you refer to yourself as. They don't care about, and when I say they, I mean the conqueror, the Europeans. They don't care about you getting a solution. They don't care about going to court and giving you millions of dollars. They come into your house looking for drugs, got the wrong tip, broke in the wrong house, killed somebody, left, find out it's the wrong place. Some of them get suspended, some of them get fired. That's not going to bring the person they killed back. That's not going to take and give you your time back, because in the end, that's what they want. They want your time, something they can't give you back. In the meantime, they're excited and happy to watch you go through those emotional changes. That's what this is about. It's warfare. That's what it's about. And black people, you so ignorant to accept this. Well, I'm not going to say ignorant. You're basically under hypnosis. You've been conditioned physically in the beginning, and all the while they've been putting you under hypnosis. So they have to perpetually keep you under hypnosis. And they do this easy. It's mass hypnosis, MK Ultra, whatever you want to refer to it as. It's normal. Hypnosis is a normal occurrence that happens in nature. Birds hypnotize each other. Animals, mammals hypnotize each other. Why do you think birds get up and sing in the morning? They're trying to hypnotize the females with their song. Okay? So that's just natural, normal. Okay? In warfare, there is no right. There's a Geneva Convention, but when war gets real crazy, all those rules are broken. Any soldier that's been to war will tell you that. Okay, that's why you have some soldiers. My whole family, all the boys are veterans. One is a Vietnam vet. He told me stories. I didn't go to war because I was in missiles. Saddam Hussein didn't have an air force. I was surface to air. Didn't need to go there. I would have went there and did what I was supposed to do, opposed to get put in prison. I was young and dumb back then. I know now. That's not a part of my history, my past that I'm proud of. But now I know. And thank goodness for me, I didn't have to go over there and do damage, because my brother shot his wife 4 times, the one that was in Vietnam. He was psychologically messed up, and that's what war does to you, okay? Look at us now, some of us walking around in society, so-called normal, right? We don't realize we're in a war, but it's affecting us psychologically. Going out, beating up our wives, beating up our men, our husbands. And trust me, women beat up their husbands, but it's been so taught to the man to be strong that the man is not going to go and say, hey, my wife beat me up. No, he's not going to do that necessarily. Maybe nowadays, because males are being demasculinized. Okay, that's a whole nother topic. Okay, so black people, when y'all stand up and be complaining about discrimination, you don't realize that you're a POW. You're a prisoner of war, okay? Remember, you were conquered. Accept it. There's nothing wrong with losing. What's embarrassing is that you don't realize this and you don't retreat, okay? During the civil rights movement, which in my opinion, and the research shows that was just a distraction to stop us from going back to Africa. Look at all the energy we have expended trying to be equal. Whereas if we would have went back to Africa, according to Marcus Garvey, we could have our own communities, our own hospitals, our own whatever. No, we chose to go with the civil rights movement because some of our educated black people convinced a lot of us that we needed to stay here and fight. What's the sense in fighting when you don't have the ammunition to win? What do you get in a fight for? To lose? No, I don't think so. Anyway, so when you go out into society, keep in mind that you're in the Europeans' territory still. They conquered this, no matter if the Indians was here, no matter if black people were already here. And that's another thing. A lot of us conscious black people are putting out all these informational videos out about the past. All this stuff that's going out about the past, how we were great in the past and this and this and that. But that's well and good. But what that has to do with our condition right now? We were conquered. Period. End of the story. Look it up. And we never recovered from that because we didn't retreat. We didn't retreat and regroup and say, okay, now what are we going to do? No, we didn't do that. Where? Where is it written that we retreated? No, we were convinced and talked into fighting. And we still fighting. It's nothing different from Emmett Till and Trayvon Martin. There's nothing different from the discrimination that we got back then, the discrimination we get now. Right? Okay, so when it all boils down and you look at the bigger picture, here's what we're doing. We go to schools that are controlled by Europeans. We eat European food. We have European thought processes. So everything we do, everything we think is from the European. So we're killing ourselves trying to be equal to the European. The concept of us going to school and then you get the good job and then you go out and buy your big house, a nice house and nice car and all your bills, that's all European. Some of us has went so far as to get dogs. I went to Africa for the first time in 1991. Didn't too many Africans have dogs as pets. So we're not the type of people that's going to have pets running around, especially the dog. Now, we all know why Europeans have dogs if you up on your research. I'm not going to get into that. But that's not an African thing. That's an adopted thing to fit in with the Europeans. Straightening our hair, that's trying to fit in with the Europeans. We still hate ourselves so much that we will go to lengths to fit in with Europeans. So why are you getting mad and upset when you get discriminated against? It's what you want, isn't it? That's what you want. You want equality. You want to give your life and your children's life for this thing called equality, when equality is just an illusion. It's all an illusion. Like I said, there's nothing equal on this planet. Nothing. Everything here in this dimension is trying to kill each other. Yes, it's trying to kill each other. A lion will wait until the mother gazelle drops that baby. And as soon as that baby is dropped, if that lion can eat that baby, it's going to eat the baby. Period. End of the story. You have some species of animal that's cannibalistic. So you living in a dimension here where you either consume or be consumed. Now you can argue with me all you want. You're just arguing for argument's sake. But then again, you're just doing what you naturally supposed to be doing here. Fighting. That's all you're doing is fighting. Now, moving on to the European. If you're European or white, I don't refer to you as white no more. You're European. Your ancestry is from Europe. If you're European and you're listening to this, you should be ashamed of yourself. Yes, because the more you go on and not try to help humanity with a genuine heart, you're just digging yourself deeper in a hole. It's called karma. Yes, you talk about black on black crime, but look at all the white on white crime. Look at all the white on non-white crime. There was a war in Europe 30 years. French against Russia, Russia against Yugoslavia. And I may not be getting all this, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. You guys were constantly at war. Look at all the torture methods you've devised. All kinds of crazy torture methods. You went around killing females because they didn't believe in Christianity. Christianity is your religion. Africans didn't have Christianity back in Egypt. In Samaria, there was no Christianity. This is your religion. But look at all the people Christians have killed, okay? You took the cross, turned it upside down, sharpened that side, and called it a sword. Yes, you did that. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at your ancestors. I'm just repeating what I see. Am I preaching hate? If I'm preaching hate, then your history is hatred. Just like the African. If they feel that I'm preaching hate, then your history is hatred, okay? So all I'm doing is relaying something. That's all I'm doing. When you see black people or African or what, niggers, whatever you want to refer to us as in society, why you get mad at them? It's because you were hypnotized and brainwashed and conditioned to be, you're insecure. Most bigots in this world, who whatever ethnicity you hate and whatever ethnicity you fall under, has never had anything done to you from the ethnicity that you hate. Personally, no. You just listen to what your mother learned, or your father taught you, your mother taught you, your grandparents taught you, and then you go out and vent on that ethnicity that you hate. Displaced, misplaced aggression. Yes, that's what you do. You know why you do it? Because you're miserable. You're miserable with your state, so you go out and find some moving thing or inanimate object to take your frustrations out on. That's weakness. That's cowardice. Because you're pointing a finger. You know Rocky Balboa, Sylvester Stallone, one of the last installments, has a motivational speech where he's talking to his son in the street. I live by that now. And he's a European. So there's good and bad in every ethnicity. Sylvester Stallone just happened to be a little wiser than a lot of Europeans. And his speech hits the nail on the head. Matter of fact, it drives the nail into the coffin. I live by that speech. Yes, stop going around blaming other people for your problems. Cowards do that. It ain't how hard you can hit, it's how hard you can get hit and get back up and keep it moving forward. That's how winning is done. Yes, I believe that. We've all been hit, but some of us don't want to get back up. And I don't blame some of you. I don't judge you. But until you get back up and say, I'm going to shake this off and keep it moving forward, you're just going to lay there on the ground, or you're going to go around dumping your problems on everything else, on everybody else. That's cowardice. So Europeans, you take responsibility of what you do and what you represent do. Look what you're doing. You're spraying chemtrails in the sky. Black people ain't going up in the airplane and spraying stuff in the sky. We're not releasing viruses among the community. We're not putting lead in the water and all that stuff. We're not doing, we didn't kill off all the Indians. We're not doing half of the stuff that y'all do. No, we don't do stuff like that, okay? We don't do stuff like that. That's point blank. We don't. All this homosexuality and gender crap and feminism and stuff, we didn't have that in our communities back then. We had one or two, but it was really, really under the rug. It wasn't accepted. You'd be outcast. Because my personal opinion, and you can look in nature, homosexuality is not natural. If it was, the majority of us would be homosexual. Lesbianism is not natural. If it was, most of us would be homosexual, and the minority would be not, okay? So, and all this transgender and whatever the alphabets are, is not normal. It's not. Okay? So, you guys are not trying to, you're not trying to get equality. No. You're doing the same thing that Black Lives Matter do, Civil Rights Movement do, Christians, Muslims do. And I group that in with Europeans because that's who's mostly doing it. You guys are trying to recruit. That's what you're trying to do. Civil Rights Movement was trying to recruit. Black Lives Matter is trying to recruit. Homosexuals are trying to recruit. Lesbians are trying to recruit. Transgenders are trying to recruit. My question is, if y'all feel like y'all being discriminated against, and y'all don't want to look at this as warfare, why don't you go buy 100,000 acres of land somewhere and start building your own communities? You can build your housing complexes, your hospitals, your schools, and live in peace. No, you here in a society that was conquered by Europeans, and they already had their morals and ethics standards. That's why you get confrontation. Because way back when, even the Europeans didn't want homosexuals around. They didn't want lesbianism around. They necessarily didn't have transgenderism around, okay? And we know what was going on between blacks and whites back then. So that's why all of us, the groups that I just met in a European conquered society, get resistance. That's why, okay? Black people, why, if you don't like it here in America, or go to Europe or Canada or some other country where you get discriminated, why don't you get with a, but there's so many black millionaires now that y'all don't come together and say, hey, let's go buy some land. And let's build our community and forget about what's going on in the rest of the world. No, because you're brainwashed to fight. All y'all got the same thing in common. Y'all fighting, trying to prove, because y'all insecure. Period. Insecure. Under hypnosis, don't know your greatness, and you're insecure. But getting back to Europeans. So Europeans, when y'all see people out in the society, or how I'm looking at you, it's pitiful. Y'all think y'all on the right path by going around destroying, when y'all karma is so messed up right now. I wouldn't want to be you. No, not because you're white. It's because of what you've done. That's why I wouldn't want to be you. Okay? What you represent, I wouldn't want to be you. The best thing you can do right now is repent. Repent. A lot of you should be repenting and standing up and saying, hey, look, we've screwed up. Yes, we screwed up. We have to repent now because what we represent is bad. Look what we've done to the planet. You set up a monetary system, for example, capitalism, and you've created everybody as a debt slave. No black person did that. We didn't do that. No, we didn't do it. Most black people don't even know what's going on as far as the redemption process or the straw man process is concerned. We don't even have no clue about that stuff. Okay? Okay, so we're going to get off the European, and I have to include Spain in the Spanish into Europe because Spain is in Europe. People forget that. So your ancestry, you Dominicans and you Cape Verdeans. And Cape Verdeans ain't really Spanish, but they look Spanish. You can mistake them as being Spanish. Guatemala, El Salvador, all them Central and South American people, the lighter skinned ones. Y'all following the same footsteps as the European. You think you're better than dark skin. You think your SHIT don't stink. Okay? Most of you don't even realize why you're called Latino. It's because the original, most of you don't even, your females don't even realize why their body's shaped like an African person. That's because you were conquered by Africans. Yes, you were conquered by Africans. Look it up. The original Spanish people are African. Moors. They are Moors. And they spoke Latin. Where you think English came from? Latin. Where you think German came from? Latin. Where you think German and French and all, they came from Latin. Go look it up. It's in history books. No, y'all too busy watching World Cup and eating cornflakes, watching these crazy Nickelodeon Looney Tune cartoons with your children, or just ignoring it altogether, okay? Because you don't want to hear the truth. You're comfortable where you at, but your karma is messed up. Your karma, what goes around comes around. You can't change that. That's nature. That's natural. So all you Spanish people out there thinking you better than Africans, you don't realize that thousands of years ago you were conquered by the African. And that's why you probably hate Africans, because it's all in genetic memory. It's all encoded in your DNA. And you ain't happy with that. But that doesn't mean you're going to go out and then dump your problems on other non-Spanish people, mostly Africans. Because you don't do it necessarily to whites, okay? You fight against whites because whites set you up to fight, just like they set Africans up to fight them. They always setting up props for you, just like they set up for us. I don't have too much comment on Spanish because it all fits into the European umbrella. But I just wanted to point that out to the Spanish community, that we're all one people. We're all one people. You were conquered by Africans, and just so happens that the Europeans conquered us. Spain conquered some Africans. Spanish people were some of the worst slave owners in the history of slavery. Yes, look that up. Who you think changed the man who's supposed to be the prophet in the Christian Bible, and he's also mentioned in the Quran in the Islamic community as Jesus, Jesus? Spain did that. His name is not Jesus. Jesus is a common Spanish man's name, just like Mercedes is a common German female name, and Porsche is a common German female's name. You took, and if I'm not mistaken, it was during Queen Isabella's reign, the conquistador. They were heavily into Christianity, manipulated Christianity in that way, okay? Italians also manipulated Christianity in the way that they wanted to fit their agenda. So Spain changed the man's name into Jesus. The Americans just happen to say Jesus. But you don't find no J in the Hebrew alphabet back then. No. So how could his name even be Jesus? Just on a side note. So I'm done with the Spanish community because it all falls under the umbrella of the European community. So Europeans, like I said, y'all have done such great destruction, total. Black people don't develop weapons. We don't develop weapons. You master weaponry. You love weaponry. You love machine. You love killing animals for fun, hooking fish, throwing them back. You don't even eat them. But then on the other side, you're animal activist and you don't want anything. That's hypocrisy. Okay, so you're like schizophrenic, different, and you want everybody else to be like you too, but you're getting resistance, and that's okay. Everything comes out in the wash. Moving on, Asians, same thing. Asian people, when y'all see other people out here, especially black, y'all been taught and brainwashed to look down on black people. Yes, a lot of you. The fair-skinned Asians look down on the dark-skinned Asians. Same concept, same stupidity. Right? Okay, but y'all have some of the same mentality. Y'all like to kill shit. Kill, destroy, fight. Y'all's movies, You got very, very rich and popular off kung fu movies, fighting, killing, war, destruction. Even your cartoons, a lot of them, the anime, fighting, killing, destroying. It's just crazy. So don't count yourself out, Asian people. I mean, there's a lot of, like I said, there's good and bad and all. But for the most part, Asia, you're promoting violence. Yes, you're promoting violence. Every kung fu movie, every martial arts film is just about fighting. That's how y'all promote yourself. That's what people say. Hey, these people like to fight. And there's a lot of other things going on with the Asian community that's I'm not even going to get into. It's just a synopsis of what Asia's about. It's not just about fighting, but a large majority of what they're promoting is just fighting. That's it. Now, whether they promote that for the Western world is one thing, but right now China has a 1 million man army and they don't play around. No, they're ready to go right now, any moment. As a matter of fact, that might be one of America's enemies or somebody America has to fight against. But they're prepared. Russia the same way, promoting all this violence, all this killing, warfare, hardly ever any happiness coming out of there. There's happy everywhere and joy everywhere, but a vast majority of the stuff that's coming out of Russia is fighting. Let's face it. You guys are proud to demonstrate how good you can fight. Yes, you lust over it now. You just don't want to see somebody get knocked out. You want to see them beat to a pulp. Yeah. So this whole thing about with the African, mostly because I'm African, I'm Black American, African American. Guys, you got to stop this. It's time to retreat. If you don't retreat, you're going to get caught up. A lot of us know what's going on, but we don't look at it as a war strategy. We don't look at it as a soldier. We're looking at it with emotions and think we got rights. No, POWs don't have rights. You get treated the way the conqueror wants you to be treated. And you can see that going on right now. Forget about the car. Forget about the house. Forget about all of that stuff, because Africans, when Europe came into Africa, where were the diamonds? Where was the gold? Laying all over the ground. You can't eat diamonds. You can't eat gold. It won't sustain your existence. It's the illusion now that the European has put on all of that stuff to make it worth a person's life. But soon all of that illusion is going to fade away. And then we're going to get back to what's real. You're more than just that $10 million house. You're more than just that $5 million boat you got. There's something better waiting for you. But as long as you stay in the European system, you're never going to find out what it is, because you're holding on to all this material wealth. Yes, you're holding on to it and you're enjoying it. I don't blame you, especially if you don't know what else there is that's waiting for you. Okay? You're holding on to that $5 million car. You're getting them paychecks every day, every week, every month. And right now it's sustaining your existence, but that's only sustaining your physical existence. It's not sustaining your spiritual existence, because if it was, you wouldn't buy that house and be like, damn, honey, I'm going out and I'm buying something else. And you get that, and then you be like, I got to go buy something else. And it's on and on and on. You're buying all this material crap that's just going to rust away, or you're going to leave it in the garage and get tired of it. Excuse me. And you're not going to have fun with it anymore. It's just going to keep, and then you're going to pass it on to your children, and your children are just going to go through the same process. The same exact process. Now, on a side note, the Europeans' war strategy is so beautiful and perfect and brilliant. Now, let's look at it like this. A pimp will have to go and get a woman, right? Okay. He talks, or she talks that person into selling their body for whatever they agree on in exchange. It's not always money. Okay? For sex. They exchange for sex for whatever they agree on. So the pimp wants to make a stable bigger. That's what they call it, a stable. They want to make the stable bigger. Okay, so the pimp might ask that one girl, does she have any girlfriends? Or he'll give a party and invite people, and then he'll try, or she will try to talk. Usually pimping is a man thing, but a lot of people don't know a lot of women have been pimps throughout history too. Yes, so that person will try to recruit other whores, right? Okay, be male whores, female whores, doesn't matter. The one thing that the Europeans have done, when you look at it as pimps and whores, and this is the best comparison I can give, where a lot of people will understand, the European has physically abused the Africans so much, and people, because Europeans, don't get it twisted, they sacrifice their own kind, yes, to make it look like it's righteous. Okay, they will sacrifice their own kind in this situation, that this strategy that they're using on everybody. Okay, they have psychologically, but mostly the African, they're after the African. Okay, oppositions, they fight. Oppositions fight one another. Okay, so what they've done is they've put so much psychological, physical stress on the African, abuse. And then on top of that, when they broke us physically, they started in on us psychologically. And they started in on us psychologically, and they waited to see if it stuck. And it stuck. Okay? So they retreated. They went back, started chilling out in their homes now. They got big houses and all this stuff that they got. And they said, now we don't even have to do anything anymore. They'll do it to their children. So black people, you're whoring out your children to the enemy. Yes, they're the enemy. And I ain't saying you go out and kill them. No, that's not what I'm saying. But in warfare, the opposition is your enemy. That's what it's called. I didn't make this up. So like I said, don't get mad at me. Whatever's in opposition to you is called your enemy. So now what we do is we teach our children what we've been subjected to. And if that's not brilliant to you, then you're so in the dark where you'll never dig your way out. You don't want to see. And that's okay. You'll see in time. Trust me. There's no such thing as time to the Creator. You'll get it. Anyway, so we put our children through this. Now remember, when you go to school, academia, they allowed us to go to school. They allowed us to go to school. So you teaching your child to go to the European school. It doesn't matter if we started the school or not. They conquered it and took it over. Doesn't matter if we started basketball. Doesn't matter if we started hockey. Doesn't matter if we started golf. Doesn't matter what we started. We got conquered. And now they're using it. Claiming it. Saying they did it. And that's what happens in warfare. So now, like I said, we're putting our children through it. And our children put on these garments and hats and receive these pieces of paper. And mostly you don't even know why you do it. You don't know that you just went through a ritual. You don't know that you're going through this symbolic ritual to indoctrinate yourself into their societies. Okay? Into their little clubs. And then you sit on the board of directors with them and you eat what they eat, and then you start to behave like they behave, and then you wonder why your karma is all messed up. You wonder why you come back here quadriplegic or severely handicapped. You don't realize that you're the one that has caused all this to happen. So I'm making this video to point out one very important thing to the African, and then everybody else after that. You are a POW. You were conquered by Europe. Your ancestors were conquered by Europe. Europe has subjected you to a war strategy that has never been done before prior to them doing it. And the war strategy is now psychological and it's brilliant. Everything you do now is supporting them, your conqueror, the enemy. So stop being surprised and making these videos about discrimination, because all you're doing is instigating something that's already in progress. My mother used to say, if you see somebody instigating a fight, kick their butt first. And all you brothers and sisters out there making money off YouTube videos, instigating discrimination, I wouldn't want to be in your shoes, because your karma is already screwed up. You're showing all of this stuff and you're not offering any solutions. None. The solution is, like I said before, one of the most powerful things that black people, African Nubians, did during the civil rights movement was to boycott those buses. So instead of us boycotting and walking away, it doesn't cost us anything to walk away. Nothing. Leave them alone. Leave the Europeans alone. Let them do them. Let them do them. That's their problem. That's their karma. Let them deal with it. But what you are doing is showing your insecurity by constantly running up to them and asking for equal rights. In Planet Fitness, in Starbucks, in Old Navy, walking down the street in European neighborhoods. What do you expect? I mean, come on. What do you expect? You think that all of a sudden one day you're going to wake up and Europeans are going to accept you fully? No. No. It doesn't work that way. No more than a monkey or a baboon going to walk through the jungle where lions are. What do you think? The lions are just going to say, oh, okay, we're not going to even bother with that baboon because we changed our minds now. No, it doesn't work that way here in this dimension. In your mind, it might work that way, but you're not living just in your mind. That's your goal, to live in your mind. But right now you're being distracted by European war strategy. And that's a wrap. Don't need to argue it. Don't need to debate it. Just accept it for what it is, because that is what it is. I'm going to put this video out here, and I guarantee you discrimination against Africans will continue, because you are the one who keep going around Europeans and being discriminated against. Europeans are even showing you, hey, we moving off into a whole different area. Here comes some black person trying to move up in the community with them, and then they wonder why they get drugged behind trucks or beat down or racially discriminated against. Europeans, for the most part, most of them, worldwide I'm talking, don't want you around them. They don't want you around. And that's okay. It's almost like it ain't almost like they brainwashed us to hate rejection. That's part of the brainwashing. We don't know who we are, what our greatness is, so we got to find ourselves being accepted by something, somebody. Please accept, please, please take me in. I don't know where I belong. You're sad. You're pitiful. Stop, man. Stop it. Sister comes back from Caribbean. She's a judge. I saw this video. TSA pulls her to the side. Hey, your name is on the terrorist watch list. She's surprised. Doesn't matter who you are. They'll let you climb to the highest. Oprah Winfrey goes to France and can't get in this store to buy anything. Oh my God, Oprah Winfrey. Y'all are ignorant. It doesn't matter how high of a degree you got. You still don't get it. You know why I get it? Because I lived 16 years in Germany when I was foolish. But I learned something. I don't come back here and be Please, Europeans, can I eat where you eat? Can I pee where you pee? No, because I know how to go build an outhouse if I need to. I know how to go hunt for food if I need to. I was talking to this brother at a job, and I'm going to stop this video because it's almost like an hour. I was at this job, this brother was saying, he's a security guy. He was like, Paul, you know, when I go out to these clubs and these places, man, I get discriminated against. I was like, let me ask you a question. Do you pay any light bill up in that place? He was like, no. I said, what about water bill? He said, no. I said, okay. Do you at least help out with the lease or the mortgage or something? He said, no. I said, so why should they let you in? I said, moreover, why are you standing out here begging them to take your money? You begging them, please take my money. Please let me in there so I can be with you. We need to stop. It looks foolish. On a world view, on a world scale, other countries are, and then you wonder why you don't get no respect. I'm a doctor. I'm a black doctor. I've been to Yale and Harvard, and then they don't let you come into their little clubs. And are they supposed to? You're a freaking POW. And within the POWs, there's little POW cliques. And you ain't going to fit in. You're never going to fit in. They're always going to talk about you. So accept it. Go be with people that think and act like you. Go be with people that acts like you and think like you. So that's all I have to say right now. I hope this is helping some people out. The ones who get it will stop begging, stop trying to be something that they're not, and start being who you are. I hope this breaks the hypnosis. If you listen carefully, you're under hypnosis, myself included. But I know there's certain things that I'm not hypnotized by. Very little stuff now. I see clearly now. I'm proud of what I am. I'm proud to be who I am. And I have no problem talking to people that I know about it. So like I said, I hope this helps some of you. Doesn't matter what ethnicity. I mean no disrespect. I'm just quoting facts. I'm just stating facts that's going on in this world today. And the only way that we're going to progress is by dialogue. And right now we're headed for really big destruction right now. And I'm telling you this as a soldier. They got plans for us that I can't even begin. That's a whole nother video. Not just 1, 2, 3. It's like 5 of them or something. But I'm not even getting into that part. But I just wish that the African would stop, no matter where you are in the world, fighting, trying to get equality, because there is no equality. Go do your thing. Go be with your loved ones and build your house and secure it and just prepare for the inevitable. Thank you.